Okay, so this is the New Oregon, and the first thing you'll notice when you come in is the lobby area hasn't changed. There's still stairwell right there, and there's still the classroom that haven't changed at all. There's still a stairwell that goes to the basement, and garage really hasn't changed. Now, the first thing you're gonna notice has changed is there's no longer a doorway that leads into kitchen, and there's now a new stairwell that leads down to the basement. They also got rid of laundry and added a security room. Now you come down the hallway, and you're met with two options: either go to showers or the dining hall. Go to the left, you go to the showers, and if you continue on down the hallway, you will eventually reach the small tower. Now, what you notice about the small tower is it looks a whole lot bigger and provides you an option of either going down the shower hallway or going right into the dining hall. You come up the stairs, and you'll notice that they got rid of the window that looks across the way into the second floor window in dorms. So I'll show you right here. There's no longer a window right there that defenders can, watch this window from. So if defenders want to contest the window right here for the attackers, they have to jump out of this window over here. So it's a really high risk, high reward. And yeah. Continuing through small tower, you'll come into the dining room. Dining room now has 3 openings, whereas used to you just had 2 openings. And right here's the corridor we came down first. Keep moving, and you go into kitchen. Kitchen, the biggest difference that you'll really notice is that there's no longer a doorway that leads into the lobby. You have to come through this kitchen corridor, which leads to the meeting hall as well as the watchtower. Meeting hall really hasn't changed other than it jets out into the stage. Other than that, it has changed aesthetically, but other than that, the layout has not changed. You go down these stairs, and the basement is very different. You'll notice that it's kind of easier for attackers to push through here. They have more area to work with, and you can come into laundry. There's where you usually put your rotate, and there is where your mirror usually goes. Now, the supply room looks to be a whole lot bigger in my opinion. It may or may not be, but it looks more open to me. And they also added this pillar in the boiler room. Now, you come through this wall, and here is the blue bunker. And you go through this barricade, and you'll have the construction spawn. Now, attackers have 3 options. They can go through the doorway, through that hole I just created, or they could try to break through into supply room. Used to, you didn't have the option to break into supply room, so that's nothing new. Now we have the freezer, and this freezer connects to the stairwell that I showed you earlier. It's just a third option for the attackers to move in via stairwell. So used to, there was only 2 stairways that lead to the basement. Now there's 3. You come up this stairway into the top floor, and the top floor looks completely different. They moved the big window further north, which allows it to be a little bit harder for people to hold angles from kids. I mean, it's just a big high risk, high reward there. They got rid of that dorm area and extended it a little bit, and they got rid of the hallway, so they made it a trophy room instead. Master bedroom hasn't really changed much. So as I said, they got rid of the hallway. There's now a trophy room, and armory corridor is now longer. And with it being longer, you can't really hold an angle from army corridor down the hallway because, again, they got rid of the hallway. You come back through here, and here is the bridge area, now called attic. Or it may have been called attic before, I'm not sure. But it just leads into the big tower, and not much has changed from the big tower. So that's just about it. Now that you've seen the entire layout of the New Oregon, I'm going to give you my review. And know that these are just my first impressions, and they're probably going to change over time. And you may have different opinions about this map and how it should look like. So anyways, let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to say about the New Oregon is that out of all the maps, this is one that probably didn't need a rework. And in my opinion, in its current state in the live build, it's one of the best maps in the game. And there probably should have been other maps to be considered for the rework. Maps like Chalet, Tower, or Favela. Those are just my initial thoughts. Now I'm going to review the New Oregon by floor level. So I'll rate the basement, the first floor, and then the second floor. When it comes to the basement, the only thing I can really say I like is that there's now a wall that goes directly into the supply room from the blue bunker. And the fact that the bunker is now bigger and gives you more options of breaking into supply, electrical, or even just going through the doorway. I also like that there's a huge pillar back there that could be really used for cover for both attackers and defenders. So overall, I really like only just the rear part of the basement. Everything else I'm not too crazy about. I don't like that the laundry is now broken into 2 rooms and it now makes it easier for the attackers to push down the stairs. I also don't like that there's a 3rd staircase that leads into the basement from Freezer, and it really takes away from what I really loved about Basement, and that was how linear it was. But I think the Basement could have been a whole lot better if they would have just kept the laundry area as it was and changed the rear part like they did, which was overall my favorite part of the Basement, and not even mess with a freezer or a third staircase. And the reason being that they made it easier to push down the laundry stairs, so I don't feel like there's a need for a third staircase. But that's just my opinion. You may have a different opinion, but initially that's what I don't like about it. Now for the first floor, I really like what they did with the first floor. And the only thing I really have a complaint about is the lack of a doorway that leads into kitchen from the front lobby area. And that kitchen is connected to the rear stage area. Other than that, I like that pushing from small tower is now a little easier. Used to, you only had one single hallway. Now you have the option to either go through dining or take the hallway near showers and the stairwell that leads to the upstairs. With this change to the small tower, as well as the kitchen and dining room, it made kitchen and dining a more viable option. And when reworking maps, the goal should be making more viable sites, and I think that they've succeeded overall with the first floor in doing that. As for the top floor, I hate to say it, but I'm really not that crazy about it. And the reason being is that it's just so open. And the change to the top floor makes it so much easier for attackers to get a foothold in master bedroom as well as the attic. And what I really liked about the top floor originally was how difficult it was to push down the hallway. It forced you to either open up a wall in bedroom closet or have a man cover the window in the hallway, or the big window that's near dorms. Now the attackers won't have much trouble taking control of the hallway. Had the devs not put in that trophy room, I don't think it would be as bad because it kind of acts as a cushion for the attackers to make a push into bedroom. But this hasn't even been a complete week, so it has a possibility to grow on me. But just overall, my first impression of the top floor is I don't like it because it's not as linear as it used to be. So overall, how do I rate the new Oregon? I will say that it's not bad. In fact, overall the map feels very good, but my problem with it is that it no longer feels like Oregon. The old Oregon that I love was very linear on the top floor as well as the basement, and I really like that. And now everything feels more open, and I think that we're going to be seeing changes as to what locations are picked. I no longer think that basement will be the go-to location. It's, in my opinion, far too easy for the attackers to get a foothold in the laundry, freezer, and bunker. However, I really like how kitchen and dining were made into a more viable site. It's now easier to push on the first floor. You may really like the changes to Oregon, but as right now, I prefer the old one, but that's probably going to change over time. So, is this rework good? Yes, I think it's fair to say it's a good rework, but it's not Oregon. I would say that overall the attackers will have a far easier time on this map than before because of it being more open and less linear and requiring them to not push down single hallways anymore. With the addition of the second hallway that connects to small tower, the addition of the third staircase and basement, attackers will just have more options. But again, these are just my first impressions. So what do you think? Do you like the Oregon rework, or do you think that they should have just left it alone? Let me know down in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon, and check out my Instagram and Twitch. The links for that will be down in the description. Thank you so much for sticking around, and as always, have a good one.